October 3rd. An unusual incident occurred today. I slept in until 10 o'clock, something I never allow myself because of the malicious spite of our supervisor. I dressed quickly and rushed to the office where the supervisor sneered at me. "Why is your head always in such a muddle? Sometimes you go at things like fury, and every now and then you get so tangled up that Satan himself couldn't unravel you." I would have resigned at once but for the gentility of the work. And we do have red mahogany tables. Yes, I'll admit, if it wasn't for the gentlemanly nature of the work, I'd have left the department long ago. After the office, there was no one about in the streets, only common women. Of the gentry, there was only a brother clerk with his eyes on the legs of a passing woman. "Ah, my friend, what a rogue you must be. A woman has only to go by in her little hat and you'll tag along for sure. Oh, enough. Lechery." A carriage drove up to a shop as I was passing. Our director's carriage. It must be his daughter, Sophia, I thought, and I pressed close to the wall. The door opened, and she fluttered out like a bird. Oh, God, I am lost forever. Lost. She didn't recognize me because of my dirty old-fashioned cloak. After she swept into the shop, her little dog was left outside. I know this little dog. She is called Maggie. I had been noticing for some time that an extraordinary number of dogs seemed to be carrying parcels for their masters. But now that I looked more closely, I could see that Maggie had a letter in her mouth. It took her only a moment to pass it to another little dog named Fidele, who was following two ladies. I also thought I heard a few words pass between the dogs. "Steady," I told myself. "Don't be surprised. Dogs are a very intelligent race, always observing us human beings and saving their comments for themselves." I do notice that lately I've begun to see things which no one else has ever yet seen or heard. I decided to follow the women into Meshkanskaya Street, where they turned into the Sverkov house. All right, I thought. At the first opportunity, I'll definitely make use of this. October 4th. Today is Wednesday, and so I was in the director's study to mend his pens. Our director is particularly fond of me. If only his daughter were too. Oh, what knavery. Never mind. Never mind. Silence. At exactly 1:30, an incident occurred which is impossible to describe. She herself came in. Holy Fathers, how she was dressed! Like the sun. just like the sun. And what a voice. Honestly. Like a canary. When she said, "Is Papa not here?" Oh, my tongue would not move. I wanted to say, "Don't have me put to death. But if you've already decided to put me to death, then strike with your own noble hand." But I merely said, "No, not at all." When she dropped her handkerchief, I flung myself forward, slipped on the blasted floor, and almost smashed my nose. Towards evening, I went to Her Excellency's gate and waited a long time in case she should come out and get into her carriage, so that I should see her once again. But no, she didn't come out. She didn't come out. November 6th. The supervisor has begun to get waggish. "You think I don't know all your tricks? Why, you're trailing around after the director's daughter. Just think what you are. 0. Less than nothing. Penniless. And just look at your face in the mirror. How can you think of such a thing?" He's jealous. I'm a gentleman. I'm only 42. An age at which a career is only just begun. Just wait, my friend. You won't be fit to lick my boots. Poverty. Only trouble is poverty. November 8. Went to the theatre. Laughed a lot. A sort of vaudeville with amusing verses about lawyers, merchants, and other deceiving swine. Very frank. I like going to the theatre. I like going to the theatre. I noticed one dancer in particular. I noticed one dancer particularly. I remember her. Knavery. Never mind. November 9. Another day at the office. Ignored everyone. Swine. passed through the director's quarters, but no one was about. After dinner, for the most part, lay on my bed. After dinner, for the most part, lay on my bed. After dinner, for the most part, lay on my bed. November 11. Sat in the director's study today. Mended 23 pens for the director. And for her, 4 pens for her excellency. Someday I'd like to peep into their drawing room and beyond, into the other rooms. Oh, what rich ornaments, what mirrors. I'd like to peep into the half where Her Excellency has her rooms. That's where I'd like to go. Into her boudoir to see how all her little jars and flasks are standing there. How the dress she's thrown off is lying, looking more like air than a dress. I'd like to peep into her bedroom. There, I think, would be a paradise. I'd see the stool on which, getting up from her bed, she places her little foot. Never mind. Silence. Tomorrow, I must get hold of the correspondence which these wretched little dogs have been exchanging. Then I shall probably discover a thing or two. November 12. This afternoon I went off down the Meshkanskaya to see the dog, Fideli, and ask her about the letters. When I rang the bell, a girl came out, not bad looking, with freckles. What do you want, she asked. I must have a talk with your dog. She blushed a little. I could see at once that she was stupid. I tried to seize the dog, Maggie, but she nearly bit my nose off. Then I saw her basket. Standing in the corner, I searched the straw and pulled out a small bundle of little papers. Seeing this, the nasty dog began whining and making up to me. But I said, "Now, my dear, goodbye." And I ran away. The girl must have thought I was mad, because she got terribly frightened. When I got home, I began sorting the letters, but I couldn't see very well by candlelight, so I went for a stroll to think the matter out. Dogs are a wise race. I shall probably find out everything. There will be something about her who... knavery. Never mind. Silence. November 13. Well, let's have a look now. The letter is pretty legible, but there is something rather doggy about the handwriting. Dear Fideli, I think that sharing one's thoughts and feelings with another is one of the greatest blessings on earth. That idea is stolen from a work translated from the German. I don't recall the title. Dear Fidele, does not my life flow amid pleasures? My young lady, whom Papa calls Sophia, loves me to distraction. Never mind. Never mind. Silence.
My dear, I know of nothing worse than the habit of giving dogs round pellets of bread. Some gentleman sitting at table who has touched all sorts of dirty things with his hands starts moulding scraps of bread with those hands, calls you up and thrusts the ball in your teeth. You refuse as discourteous, so you eat it with revulsion, but you eat it.
Oh, what rubbish! Give me a human being. I want to see a human being. I ask for food to nourish my soul. Instead, these trifles.
Sophia is so excited these days about the gentleman of the bedchamber who is calling upon her. A gentleman of the bedchamber with eyes as black as agate. If she likes this gentleman, she'll soon like the clerk who sits in Papa's study, always mending pens. What a scarecrow he is, an absolute tortoise in a bag. What clerk could that be? He has hair like straw, and Papa is always sending him off on messages instead of a servant.
I think this rubbishy little dog means me. Have I got hair like straw?
Sophia can't help from laughing when she looks at him.
You lie! You blasty little dog! What a filthy tongue! As if I didn't know this comes from envy. These are the tricks of the supervisor, a man who has sworn unending hatred and who harms me at every step.
The gentleman of the bedchamber now comes every day. Sophia is madly in love with him.
Devil take it! I cannot stand all this intrigue. You find a poor treasure for yourself. Think to reach it with your hand, and some gentleman of the bedchamber snatches it from you. It's also very disappointing.
I've torn the stupid little dog's letters to shreds.
December 3rd. Impossible. Absolute twaddle. There can't be a wedding. What if he is a gentleman of the bedchamber?
That's nothing. A mere title. Does he have a gold nose? Or 3 eyes? Gentleman of the bedchamber, indeed. He is no better than I.
Perhaps I am really a count or a general, and only appear to be a clerk. Perhaps I don't know myself who I am.
After all, there are many examples in history where a mere peasant turns out to be a prince. Can't the title of
Governor General be bestowed on me this very moment? This very moment? December 5th. Read the papers all morning. Strange things are happening in Spain. The throne is vacant. Rebellion is rife. Strange. How can the throne be vacant? kingdom can't exist without a king.
There is a king, but he is somewhere in hiding.
December 8th. I couldn't get the Spanish affairs out of my head. These events upset me so much. I couldn't sit down to anything all day. Lay on the bed, for the most part, and debated the Spanish question. An empty throne is unthinkable. 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 Year 2000, April 48th. Today is a day of the greatest solemnity. Spain has a king. He has been found. I am that king. I discovered this at precisely 2 minutes after 7 this morning.
I can't understand how I could have thought myself only a clerk. How could such a mad idea have entered my head? It is a good thing no one thought to put me in a lunatic asylum then. Now all is clear to me. I see through everything. Until now, everything was in a kind of mist. This happens because people imagine that the human brain is situated in the head. Quite the contrary. The human brain is born by the wind from the regions of the Caspian Sea. I didn't go to the office. The hell with it. Martober, 86. Between night and day. Our administrative clerk came today to say I must go to the office. That it is more than 3 weeks now since I haven't been to work. For a joke, I went to the office. The supervisor thought I would bow to him and make apologies, but I regarded him indifferently. I sat down in my old place and gazed upon the rabble. How you would all bow and scrape if you knew who sits among you. What amused me was when they put a paper before me to countersign, but right in the very central space, reserved for the director's signature, I wrote, Ferdinand VIII. But I didn't insist on allegiance.
From there, I went to the director's flat. I went into the director's quarters and went straight to her boudoir. She was sitting at the mirror and jumped up and stepped away from me. However, I did not tell her I was the King of Spain, but only that a happiness exceeding her wildest dreams awaited her, and that despite the machinations of our foes, we would be together. She said nothing, and I went out. Oh, that crafty creature, woman. They marry only for ambition, and ambition is caused by a little bubble under the tongue which holds a smallish worm about the size of a pinhead, and a certain hairdresser is responsible for it all, one who lives in Gorokov Street. I don't remember his name, but it is notorious that he and a certain midwife want to spread Mohammedanism all over the world, and it has already taken root in France.
No date. The day was dateless. Went incognito along the Nevsky Prospect. The Imperial Tsar rode past. The whole town took off their hats, and I did likewise, but gave no sign of being King of Spain. I have decided to introduce myself at court only when I have the Spanish national dress. Must get a mantle of some kind. I should like to order it at the tailor's, but they are absolute asses and slipshod in their work. I've decided to make a cloak from my new uniform, which I have worn only twice. Behind locked doors, I've snipped it into little pieces with the scissors because the cut must be quite different. I don't remember the date, nor was there any month. The cloak is quite ready and sewn. As yet there has been no deputation from Spain, though I expect it at any hour. Date 1. The extraordinary tardiness of the Spanish deputation surprises me. What could be delaying them? France? China? Japan? Bolivia?